like to share how NVC came to me. It was in 2004, and the book came to me, and I read it, and I just felt so at home. Every word that I was reading was so true for me, and I convinced my husband to go with me on that path, on that NVC journey, and we started to do a lot of trainings to learn NVC and to implement it in our family life. And we also, since we were so passionate about it, and in this time, it's been 16 years now, I made a beautiful experiences that really touched my heart. And and I wrote them down because and I started to write them down, and it was so joyful to go into these experiences again. And and I just kept writing, and then a book came out of it. And this year in September, a dear friend of mine, Rudy Begas, he helped me translate it. He translated it into English, and then so that it can be out for everybody to read. Yeah, for so many people. Since I met this guy on the terrace in the EIC, this is a 9-day training in South France, and he said, I just my German book just came out, and he said, Gundi, I'm so sad. I so much would like to read your stories. And then I was like, in 5 years you will be able to do so. So, and it happened even earlier. So, and this is why I'm celebrating, this book. And I was like sharing my dream and my vision with Anish a few days ago. And my vision is to be a gift in this world and to bring gifts in this world. And these stories are like, my strategy to do so. And then Anish was like, wow, I'm excited. I like this idea. Let's do something. And this is how we came up with what is happening right now. So, and I am, there's so much going on inside of my stomach. And I would like to call it, I think I like calling it excitement. And it's also nervous and whatever. It's a lot of things going on in my stomach right now. Yeah. All right. So, time to start the story. Enjoy. The story is called I Want Ease. In a seminar, we were practicing the 4 steps of honest self-expression in subgroups. I join in as a trainer. The ground anchors are laid out on the floor. We have like cards which say observation, feeling, need, request, and we put them on the floor, and then we let people practice going on top of them step by step. So this is what we call the ground anchors, and they are laid out on the floor. One participant stands on the feeling card and says, I feel sad. I inquire for the observation. If you don't want to put on your slush pants, I try to make myself useful and invite him to go to the needs card and ask, because you need? He says, well, I don't want to have a hard time. I comment, if we only can think of a negative formulation and we look to the opposite, we usually end up at the need. So what is the opposite of a hard time for you? He thinks about it for a while and finally comes up with an answer. Well, I want it easy. Then I ask him to walk the steps again from the beginning. He says, if you don't want to put on the slush pants, I'm sad and I don't want to have a hard time. He takes a break and eventually says very quietly, I want to have it easy. He says it so quiet that his role-playing child cannot even hear it. I ask, is it so hard for you to say that? Yes. Is it as if it is not allowed for you to have it easy? Yes. I assume a whole range of core beliefs are activated, phrases which we mostly hear in our childhood. At that time, it was important that we stick to them, mostly to fulfill the need for belonging. Many of them also served our safety or our surviving. That is why we choose to follow these phrases, why we believe them, and why we internalize them, and finally, even make them our truth. Some of them are very familiar to me. For example, life is not a pony camp, but also something like, the others are more important than me. Does that sound familiar to you? I myself worked on a number of them in laborious ways because life is really hard. I transformed a lot of them, and still new ones keep coming up. I also accompanied many people on that path and found very similar patterns, especially with mothers. I often encountered an understanding of the role of mother that is characterized by total self-sacrifice. Mothers have no needs, only that everyone else is doing well. And when they learn in the NVC seminar that they do have needs, it's like discovering a new world. What? I have needs? And my answer to this is, yes, you do. You are a human being like everyone else. You do have needs, and they are treasures, sources of strength. They serve you and keep you alive. They belong to you. As I am writing this, I feel energy rising in me, a lot of power at my disposal. I would love to shout out that message because it's so important to me. Now, I ask myself, why actually? Maybe because it was such a huge discovery for me, a real eye-opener. This realization stirred me up. It gave me the strength to see the world through different eyes and finally gave me the vast amount of freedom. Yeah, that's what it provided. And I wish that many, many, many people experience that. Now I'm calmed down again. So, back to our seminar situation. This is an introduction seminar. Working on core beliefs could be a precious object, but is not suitable in this case, since the topic is to learn about the 4 steps and get an idea of honest expression and empathic listening. Bearing that in mind, I offer the best I can think of. The best that appears feasible to me in this situation. And I say, now we practice in a role play. There is no real child, and we are all here to support you. nothing can possibly go wrong. So I invite you to just to pretend that it's perfectly natural for you to have a need for ease. Just imagine that the most natural thing in the whole world is that you just want to have it easy for yourself, just like everyone else wants to have it easy for themselves. Are you willing to try that? Nods and moves to the ground anchors. He's standing on observation. Now he's standing up straight. Now he speaks with a loud and clear and powerful voice. If you don't want to put on these slush pants, I'm annoyed because I want to have ease. I want to have fun. Please put on your slush pants so we can go and play outside. The child responds, okay. And this okay was so quick and it came so naturally. And me as Gundi, I'm surprised and inquire. And the woman in the role of the child says, well, it's so obvious. I want to have ease too. There's a little add-on. While I'm writing this story, I'm sitting in the garden. My mother squats a few meters beside me and enjoys weeding. I complain about 4 insect bites that have become inflamed and very hard. She immediately gets up and brings me a cooling balm. She hands it to me and says, I can't rub it in because I'm wearing gloves, but if you're already making your hands dirty, you can also cream the sting on my arm. I was too lazy to get the balm just for myself. How fitting.